Hey there, and welcome back to the Beyond Blood Sugar podcast. Today, we're going to dive into some of the biggest lies that we've all been told about insulin, metabolism, and what actually works to support your body. If you ever felt like you were doing all the things, but are still struggling with things like cravings, energy crashes, weight, you're not alone. And mind you, I use those examples a lot, the cravings, energy, and weight, because those are the most common. There's lots of other ones, but those ones are the most common. So that's what I tend to focus on the most. But if that's you, chances are you've been following advice that perhaps is keeping you feeling stuck and feeling what you're feeling right now. So today, I'm going to walk you through three of the biggest myths that might be sabotaging your goals or your progress. These are things that almost everyone has heard at some point and maybe even believed because they sound logical. You'll see. But once we break them down a little bit, you'll see exactly why they don't hold up and what you can do instead to start seeing real changes. So let's start with the big one, this idea that weight loss is just about eating fewer calories and moving more. We've all heard it, right? The standard advice goes something like this. If you're gaining weight, obviously you are eating too much and not moving enough, period. I mean, sounds simple, right? Except that it doesn't actually work that way. Now, don't get me wrong, calories do matter to some extent. They do, but they're not the whole story. And remember, I have a fun episode coming up about this, the whole calories in, calories out thing. So, stay tuned for that. But the fact is, your body is not a simple math equation. It's a complex system regulated by hormones. And one of the biggest players here is insulin. When your insulin is high, your body is in fat storage mode. Doesn't matter if you're cutting calories. If insulin is elevated, your body is prioritizing storing energy, not burning it. It's why people can cut calories and exercise more and still not see the results that they want. Think about this, have you ever yourself reduced your calories and started working out more and are still feeling the same things? You're still tired, you're still hungry, you're still at the same weight. That could be because hormones drive fat storage, not just calories. Okay. So if your insulin is high, your body will resist the weight loss, no matter how much you cut back on food. Okay. So the key is lowering insulin first. When insulin levels come down, your body can actually access stored fat for fuel, and that's when the real change happens. This is why focusing on food quality, like prioritizing, protein, healthy fat, and fiber, even while cutting back on processed foods and frequent snacking, can work better than just calorie counting alone. Okay. So, line number two, as long as your blood sugar is normal, you're fine. Okay. Yeah. So this one is one of the most dangerous misconceptions out there, in my opinion. Most doctors will only look at your fasting blood sugar or your A1C, maybe even your post-meal, postprandial blood sugars to determine if you're at risk for diabetes. But here's the thing. I've said this many times and I will say it all the time. Insulin resistance that drives diabetes starts years before blood sugar levels go up. Years. You could have totally normal blood sugars while your insulin is sky high, and no one is testing for it. Almost no one. If your doctor is testing for it, then that's amazing. And during that time, by the way, high insulin levels are actually causing damage to your metabolism, leading to all the things that we talk about, the energy, cravings, inflammation, fatigue, um, weight gain. So here's the reality check. By the time your blood sugar is officially high, enough to diagnose as prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, again, insulin resistance has been in play for years. So, how do you know if insulin is high if doctors don't test for it? One, definitely push for testing if you feel it's appropriate for you. But your body gives you signs like the constant cravings, if it's especially for sugar and carbs, feeling tired after meals, weight gain around the midsection, um, feeling hungry after you just ate, brain fog, low energy, mood swings, all those things. can be a sign of high insulin. Again, they're a sign of other things too, but they can also be a sign for high insulin. The problem, most people don't make changes until their blood sugars actually start to spike. But insulin resistance is like this ticking time bomb. The sooner you address it, the better. And the good news is that, again, there's a lot you can do to lower your insulin naturally before things get worse, before they ever progress to prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Now, let's talk about something that I think a lot of people still believe. And it's the idea that you need to eat every few hours to keep your metabolism going or to keep your blood sugar stable. We've been told that eating small meals all day help keep your blood sugar stable and your metabolism firing. But in reality, this just keeps your insulin potentially high all day. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin. The more often you eat, the more insulin is circulating in your body. And when insulin stays high all day, your body never gets a chance to burn fat, stored fat for fuel. And think about it. If you're eating, a breakfast and then a mid-morning snack and then lunch and then another snack and then dinner and then a snack before bed, when is your body getting a break from insulin or getting just a break? The truth is that your metabolism doesn't shut down between meals. In fact, it's one of the best things that you can do for insulin sensitivity is to space out your meals and give your body time to burn stored energy. So for many people, shifting from constant snacking to maybe 3 solid meals a day can be enough to make a big difference. Others find that incorporating intermittent fasting or giving themselves a longer gap, between dinner and breakfast, for example, helps their body become more insulin sensitive and burn more fat efficiently. So here's another thing. When people experience drastic drops in blood sugar due to an overcompensation of blood sugar spikes, they're told, well, just keep eating throughout the day so you don't experience the low. What? How about not eating in a way that drives the spike to begin with, rather than continue eating and keeping insulin up, right? It's just mind-boggling to me sometimes. But the key takeaway, you don't have to graze all day to keep your metabolism going. What you really need is to keep insulin under control, okay? So let's do a quick recap. The three biggest lies about insulin and metabolism. Number one, it's all about calories in, calories out. No, it's about hormones, especially insulin. Matter way more. Okay. Number two, if your blood sugar is normal, you're fine. False. High insulin can be causing damage long before blood sugar rises. And number three, you need to eat small meals all day. Again, not true. Frequent eating just keeps insulin high and makes it harder to burn fat. Okay. Now, again, everybody's body is different. So if you have a medical condition where you need to eat, 3 or 6 small meals a day, fine. Okay. I'm not talking about specific outliers. I'm talking about in general. Okay. So if you're ready to start working with your body instead of against it, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Um, and if this episode was helpful, share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.